are stories that connect us to ourselves and each other. These stories reveal who we are and show us the many vivid, wild colors of our truth. Welcome to Soul Wanderings, where we raise spiritual awareness and foster connections through these shared stories and personal experiences. And now, exclusively on KGRA Radio, I give you your host for Soul Wanderings Radio. Here's AJ.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Soul Wanderings. I am AJ Rasmussen, your host. I'm so excited to be here tonight. We are live on KGRADB.com and on video. If you go over to the KGRA Facebook and YouTube pages, you can hang out on any of those platforms and join in the conversation with the other wanderers, and then share with your friends. Let's gather an audience tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, listeners, I said in the past that I was going to be sharing some of your emails. So tonight I have a really good one I thought was relevant to what's going on in the world, and just a little bit of hope and inspiration sending your way. So I have this listener. He's out of Delaware. His name is Lance B. And he shared this really long, in-depth email with me, and I was just really moved by the things he had to say. But there's a part of the email that he wanted me to share directly with all of you here on air, and why not? This is all about sharing and connecting with one another, so I thought it would be perfect to do that with you tonight. Quoted by Lance, "This is a time of change, and no doubt is there division in the mess of all that is going on in our world. I encourage you all to connect to nature, connect to your hearts. Don't add to the chaos that is happening all around. Rather, work on healing yourself, loving yourself, and finding your purpose in this human experience. Listen to shows like these, like Soul Wanderings, where you find inspiration and hope. And after you listen to a show, don't stop there. Share. Let's get us all connected. Do the work you heard the guests do to get where they are. Read the books they write. Listen to your inner guidance and be directed to do more good in your life and more good in the world." I thought that was so good. And then he also continued to say, "Thank you, AJ, for consistently bringing new guests and showing up for us. I'll continue to support your show and all of these shows like this, because that is where the change will happen. A little seed has been planted by you and your guests, and it will continue to grow." So awesome, Lance. Thank you so, so much. And as promised, if I read something that you share with me and I share it over the air, I'll send you a little thank you package in the mail. So watch out for that within the week, Lance. I appreciate your time and sharing what was on your mind and in your heart. And for those of you who are interested in also sharing with me, you can do that by emailing me at connect@soulwanderings.com. And I read and reply to each and every email that I receive. I'm in so much gratitude for all of you for these little love notes I get and the ones that you want me to share. So thank you very, very much. It's so good. Speaking of so good, tonight we have one of my most favorite humans in the whole entire world hanging out with us. And she's no stranger to Soul Wandering. She's been on here a couple of handfuls of visits, which has been just so good each and every time. And with your request, by those emails, we are bringing her back. So let's introduce my dear friend, Natalie Peace. She's a life coach, a grief coach, a facilitator who brings awareness into our experiences, and she's committed to showing the real side of grief in all of the stages that it has, all of those layers. And she's passionate about assisting you with your humanness. She's called the Human Wilderness Guide, as well as the numbers lady, which you guys gave her that name. And tonight we're going to be having an in-depth conversation about personality traits in the human design. So we'll be able to dig deeper into better knowing of who we are and why we do the things we do, and a better understanding of each other in general. Natalie, hi.
Hey, hello.
Welcome back.
Why, thank you. I'm so excited.
I get excited anytime I get to hang out with you, but I'm not the only one. I was sharing this with you the other day, and I probably have shared it more than once, but everyone loves Natalie.
It's crazy.
You bring up Natalie's name in the circles, and people who have encountered her, had an experience with her, are always so happy to hear your name. And then they go on and on and on about how wonderful you are, all the things you've done for them. You're just this bright and shiny light in the world. And I'm just full of gratitude that I get to be part of your circle and in your life, and being able to help you in all the ways that I get to, so you could spread your message.
Yes, it's good. Beautiful. Sometimes I don't even know I receive it and I get washed by those compliments, and it's like, I don't know, maybe that's a part of an aspect that says, what we're born to do is show up to be who we're born to be. And I've worked pretty hard at that. I've been studying different things, and maybe that's why it shows up like that.
Yeah, it definitely oozes from every pore. I don't know how else to explain it. When you've met Natalie or come around Natalie, you just know that's just Natalie.
Just trying to be a little bit of sunshine in a dark world. Especially because I hang out in places like grief and difficulties in life. And
right. Yeah. Right. So tell us a little bit about that, because even though you're not new to Soul Wanderings, we have you here often, not often enough, but
thank you. I'll come as often as you ask me.
We do get to have you here.
Yeah.
But for those of you for those words today, for those who do not have a familiarity about you, why don't you share a little bit about who you are and what it is that you do?
Okay, so so it's like that elevator speech, or just getting real with it.
My preference is just get real with it.
Yes, it's kind of getting real with it. So I do have a private coaching practice. I also work closely with a local mortuary, where I do grief groups for them, 2 a week, where I'm sitting with grievers on a regular basis, and I deal with suicide loss groups as well. So I do that a couple of times a month right now. And then with my private coaching clients, sometimes it's with them, working with them as they're going through their grief. And so let me compartmentalize this a little bit. So we'll go, okay. So with grief, I'm pretty passionate about being really real with it. I've come to understand through all of the groups that I've done, I've actually attended hundreds of groups because I've facilitated hundreds of groups, but I've also attended them while I'm facilitating them, hearing stories and getting an idea about what it is to be in grief, and really what this grief journey is when people lose something that they love, someone that they love, those things. So I'm passionate about educating people about how to navigate it, not how to get out of it, but how to navigate it. So I've also from that come to understand that, it's natural and normal for anyone that's lost something that's important to them, whether it's a person, a job, a body part, anything like that. Our body has a natural grief process that it actually goes through kind of organically. So if we can learn how to not get in the way of it, like we don't have to tell our heart to pump the blood. The heart just kind of does that. So I've come to understand that emotions have an intelligence of their own. So if we can kind of get out of the way and we can have an emotion and it can wash over us and then we can just be with it, it comes all on its own and then dissipates naturally. So
Yes.
I like to teach people about that process. And so most people don't really navigate it that way. Most of the time they're going, nope, nope, got to shut that down. Don't want to
Mhm.
feel that way. I understand that. It's such a hard time when those waves of grief hit someone, and there's a social stigma with it. And these days in America, we've gone far away from the 1 year wearing black, honoring someone in grief, to 3 days bereavement, and you got to get back to work. And please don't bring that emotional stuff to work, because we
Mhm.
need you to be operating, without that baggage going on.
Right. Right.
So that's what I like to teach in the grief arena. And then with my private coaching clients, it's really helping them understand their flow. That's part of where knowing the human design or other types of systems is so beneficial, because then it's like having your owner's manual or your blueprint.
Mhm.
And you're saying, guess what? You are like this, and you're not like this other person, because that other person is like this. So don't try to be you, figure that out. But um, and so these types of systems provide a sort of owner's manual. So
Mhm.
then you say, well, I'm going to operate this way. And if I honor that versus fight against it, everything just kind of gets more smooth.
Yeah.
It's so wonderful.
Yeah. Work with it and not
Work.
against it.
Yep. So that's what I do in my private coaching practice and the grief groups. And then I also have a lovely a few classes that I love to teach, because I do love to teach out of vibes. And so I teach Get Real, which is really Get Real,
It's
which is,
really for real. Get real.
for real. That has been powerful for in my own personal growth.
Mhm.
It's interesting that for most everyone, but definitely for me, because I'm a natural born teacher, I find that I do teach best what I need to learn. And so as I'm teaching, I'm learning and growing. And so I'm not teaching from this place it's like I've got it all on lock. I'm teaching from, hey, there's this. And I'm like, oh, that one's for me. That one's for me. So it's a beautiful experience. And I learned from all my clients and from the grief groups. And
Mhm.
life is such a beautiful school when you can learn to look at it that way and
That
embrace
it
it.
is. That it is. I'm listening to you, and every time you explain what you do and who you are and the things you get to experience, you always are smiling and literally ecstatic about it. But this is a show. This is something
Yeah.
that happens from you all of the time. And so for those of you watching and seeing her and you're like, wow, she's so happy. Well, that's Natalie. This is contagious because Natalie is showing up this way all of the time. This is how
Even in
she
a grief group.
I was going to say this is how she faces every emotion. Even the ones where you are, the heavy ones where we're crying, like the good ugly cries, and Natalie's just smiling.
Cheering it
Ah,
on. I'm going, good, go get
that's
it.
what
Get it.
love looks like. I admire that about you
Oh,
because we
thank you.
are so conditioned not to feel our feels,
Mm-hmm.
right? Don't, just like you were saying, how we're meant to grieve just for a few days before we have to hop back on that train and get going again. And you're like, no, no,
No,
that's not what grief looks like. It comes,
no,
it goes, and we definitely need more than 3 days. And
definitely.
and not just that, the way that you assist others in not hiding away from what they're feeling, but actually let's feel it. Let's really get into this. Can you feel that grief? Oh my gosh, can you feel it? And it's just such a unique approach, and an approach that I completely appreciate because it's like no other approach that I have experienced. And the results of the way that you take on these emotions and these experiences with others have these profound results. And it just blows my mind every time when I have been a witness to those results in others from what you have shown them, what you have taught them.
Such an honor to be able to do work like that. Such an honor. That people trust me to be with them when they're like at their most vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's giving me chills. It's like that.
Yeah, it's like that. It's so beautiful and I have so much gratitude that somewhere, well, I guess if I look back on my life, all along my way, I had people there to help me and help me grow and help me step into this. I'll often tell people, look, and I had my own grief experience, and then I'll tell people, look, I didn't have that level of clarity when I was in it. I was a mess too. I have this clarity now so I can guide you. But I didn't have it then. So don't mistake this 14 years later with what I was like then. I was like, yep, I was a mess. I was like that. Lots of ugly cry.
But isn't that how it goes? That's how it goes for all of us.
Yes.
What we know now is so different from what we'll know in a year from now or 14 years from now. Of course, you're a completely different person.
Yes, unless you want to just be a stick in the mud and like just entrench with all your stuff. Yes. If
sometimes,
you're not willing,
yes. Sometimes I want to.
Sometimes you're like, I don't want to shift and grow. Wait, maybe I do. Maybe that would be better.
Actually, it's been pretty neat throughout the years, and you've been a witness to a lot of my growth. Natalie and I have known each other for 4 or 5 years now.
Right.
And she has consistently been teaching in my shop, Vibes, Mind, Body, Spirit, which you can check out at vibesnow.com. And the cool thing about that is seeing her so often. She's seen me in all of my ranges. And
yes,
it's just been really, really awesome to have a friend like you be able to support me in times where I really needed a friend, and not just anybody, but somebody who was like really calling me out or holding space for me when you knew that's just exactly what I needed. Everyone needs a friend like Natalie.
Aw.
Everyone needs a Natalie.
It's in my card too. It's interesting that's in my, some of that's in the profile, my own human design, but then it's also because I don't use just human design. It's my playing card. My playing card's a 2 of spades, and that's like kind of a friendship card. And so it's so interesting to see literally the design. Guess what, guys? It was designed. Like there's a design to it. And it was on purpose, like this higher level technology that's bigger than us. And it's beautiful if you can tap into that to unkink any kinks you may have in your life. Because once you unkink them, then we go around smoother.
Right. Those kinks. Whew.
I know. We all have them, but it's like Earth is school. We're here to learn. May as well accept the student role too and say, okay, I'm learning and growing.
Right.
And that is not easy in some of those time frames where there's roughness going on.
Right. And that brings on a whole different type of growth when you look at things that way.
Yes.
It's deeper, and you become in a deeper knowledge of yourself, of who you are by going through it, rather than, going through it because you have to, because it's happening to you, instead of looking at it as a growth experience. Like you were saying, like, this is happening for me and look what I get to learn by going through this.
There's that universal concept that says, like, be like water, or the universe takes the path of least resistance. These concepts are great to read, and then we're like, oh, that's kind of inspirational. But you really, really understand it when you figure out what the application of that is. And so when the hard times are happening, and you actually think about that phrase, universe takes the path of least resistance, then say, how in this situation can I have less resistance to it?
Mm-hmm.
There's an open willingness, and then that's things move like this flow, like a river. But if things get dammed up, then sometimes you have to remove the dam so then it
Mm-hmm.
can flow.
No kinks.
No, yes, we go and get a good life massage. We got to massage our life.
Yes, just like that.
I have to write that one down.
I love when you come up with this stuff and you're like, ooh, that's a keeper.
My peeps in one of my groups are calling them Natalie Nuggets, and I'm like, well, that's maybe a good title for a book.
Yeah, hashtag.
Hashtag Natalie Nuggets. It'll be my new memes that I'm posting on my Facebook.
Really, I mean, it's catchy.
Life massage.
See, you guys, as everyone's smiling right now, we're going to talk about some, challenging life stuff, but we're going to laugh through this process tonight.
Right.
Because that's how Natalie shows up.
So much joy. And I love doing this. I think it just makes me so joyful because first time I ever did the show with you, I'm like, wow, that feels good to me. Like, that's an aspect of myself I never experienced. So when I get to do it, I'm like, oh, joy. I just feel so much joy.
I come to you like, I know you've been on the show a lot. I don't want to ask you if you don't want to do it. So just be honest. But I would really love to have you back. And I have emails of people saying they want the numbers lady back. And she's like, shush, of course I do. Why are you still talking?
That's right. What date am I coming?
When do you want me there? I'll be there. And you just make it so easy. And then I get all excited the whole week before. I'm like, oh, Natalie's going to be on the show tonight. Oh, I'm so excited. It's good. I love having you in my life, friend. And it's so good to have you here.
Yeah, the same.
Thank you. So tell us a little bit. We have a few minutes before break. I want everyone to know what they're in store for tonight. What are we going to be talking about?
Okay, so you asked if I'd come and talk about human design. As my camera moves. Like, oh, look, I'm a real person going on. So the human design system, a few years ago, I encountered it. And it was interesting. I was talking about it the other day and someone said, well, how did you encounter it? I said, well, I went to this expo. So locally we have these expos that have spiritual gems, different kinds of things, energy workers in it. And the lady there had a booth. And I took the pamphlet that she had and the information that she had, and something just kind of tugged about it. So I looked into it. It's one of the most complex systems that I've ever encountered. It brings in astrology, numerology, the I Ching, which is a Chinese oracle book called the Book of Changes, the Kabbalah Tree of Life, and the hexagrams. And so that's all of these systems that are like layered on top of each other. And out of that, it comes up these profiles that you get, a profile that you get that will explain. It literally gives you a strategy, the powerful parts of it. It tells you what type you are. So that talks about the auric type, what type your aura, the shape that your aura literally is in. And I didn't even know that. There's like 4 different types of aura shapes. And then there's a different type of so there's your type and your profile and your strategy and your authority. And then it gets even more deeply, like these 9 centers that you have, whether they're defined or undefined. So I don't even know how much we'll tap into tonight, but it's super complicated. It's a really complicated system, but it's powerful even if you know what your aura type is and how do you interact in the world and how the world interacts with you because of the aura. And then your type, and then your strategy and your authority. So we're going to kind of dig into that and whatever that looks like.
And that can look like a lot of things.
Right. When I'm wandering with you, I don't know what it's going to look like.
We never know. We never plan this stuff out. That's the joy of the journey.
Unscripted.
So good. So now that you know what we'll be talking about tonight, I hope you guys all stay close, because in just a few short moments, we're going to be coming back to have this in-depth conversation with Natalie about the human design. Stay close.
Hey members, the new KGRADB app is now available on iOS and Android devices. Gain on-demand access to any KGRADB programming. Download any show directly to your mobile device to listen or watch on the go. Go to the App Store and search KGRADB.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
Families don't have to talk about everything, but they should talk about how to plan for an emergency. Get tips and resources to make your family's emergency plan.
Welcome to the new KGRA digital broadcasting website, thekgradb.com. Here you'll find great new content, including the KGRA Classics, great shows from our archives. You'll be able to see the show times and information so you can see what show is currently on air. The on-air live button. So just go to this section and you'll be able to hear the show live with exceptional sound quality. We also have the Vault section. Make sure to subscribe to get access to great content and special features. We have the make content for our latest news and events, so make sure to sign up and you can be part of our forum. So make sure to check out the new KGRA digital broadcasting website, thekgradb.com. We look forward to seeing you there, and we hope that you enjoy the new website.
Hello, Wanderers. Welcome back. Tonight we are hanging out with our special guest, Natalie Peace. She's a life and grief coach and a human wilderness guide. Isn't that right, Natalie?
That's right.
Human wilderness guide.
Meet people in their wilderness. I'm not afraid to go in.
No, that's one thing you are not. You are the keeper of people's vulnerability. For sure. And it's a beautiful, beautiful place for you to be and for us to experience that with you. So thank you. Tonight, we are going to be talking about human design. And it's a lot of things, like you said before the break, so many things. I love how it combines the Kabbalah, I Ching, astrology, all of that stuff, like even more. But it's just crazy how it has that many layers, and it just allows you this opportunity to have this deeper understanding of who you are, your personality traits, why you do the things you do, why you show up in this way. And just a little bit that you were able to share with me, I was like, what? We need to know more. So here you are.
Here I am, going to share more. And then, I had that little error that I had made, but it didn't change what I had told you. So,
oh, perfect.
So
I didn't
that was
think
still
it
on
would.
track.
Yeah, because I remember looking at my human design a while ago, and I got my chart, and I was like, how am I supposed to figure this out? How does this make any sense to me? So first, if someone goes out and looks up how to figure out your human design, you're probably going to run into the same experience that I had, where you're like, this makes no sense. It's a different language. I don't understand it. And that's why meeting with someone like Natalie, or just meeting with Natalie, would really assist you in gaining that knowledge of what the chart means to you, and how it will apply to like your day-to-day, even like working with other people in different experiences, relationships, whatever that looks like.
That's right. Yep. Because after I started, so I did, the person that had the booth, and I did get they call them body graphs. So it is literally a graph, and overlaying the body are these 9 centers and these different channels and a bunch of numbers. And you're just like, I don't know what that means. But I had received a partial description, because you can't really, like, a really in-depth description takes like a good couple hours. And so I had received a partial description, and I was super intrigued. So then I proceeded to buy a bunch of books, and the book that I have literally feels like a textbook, because you know how those textbooks, they have weight to them. This one does. And so then I study it, and then I'd have to set it aside for a little while, because it was like, wow, it literally is like going to school to study the whole system and the different parts. And so I think that's been over 3-4 years that I've been studying it and using the books, and then using it with clients. And then that's even more powerful when I run someone's body graph or their chart. And then I go, okay, this is you. And then I'm interacting with them, and I'm seeing, oh, that's what that looks like. That's what that type looks like. If this auric type comes up, and this is how it's coming up and interrupt and being difficult for people. So there's different, the aura types. There's a manifester, a generator, a projector, and a reflector. And reflectors are really, really rare. It's where they have wide open centers. Every one of their centers is open. And I happened to meet 2 of them along the way. When I pulled charts on one client, I was I'm so excited. I've never run into a projector. And then a real good friend of mine says, I'm one of the rarest types, and I'm a projector. I'm like, wow, I have 2 in my space. That's neat.
It sounds like a board game, like Magic or something, all of these names.
Maybe so. So your auric type is a manifester, and that it's, it does have manifestors and generators are their own energy source. So manifestors and generators have a little engine going on in there. This is a complicated mind-body system, truly. The more that you learn, and the more that you study different systems, Chinese medicine or energy medicine, it doesn't really matter, but the more you learn about it, even the Western medicine, if you're just looking at the functionality of things, the more you study it, the more you realize that we don't know. And similar to this. So with so manifestors and generators have their own engine. And so they're challenged with deciding when to put their energy towards something, because the other 2 types, the reflectors or the projectors, are coming along in life and asking to tap into that. Especially the projectors need to tap into someone else's energy source. And so that's important. So then projectors are challenged with waiting for an invitation. When I first read that with a client, I'm like, I don't even know what that means. But then I came to understand that someone that comes up as a type projector has to be invited in, because essentially they are tapping someone else's energy source.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, a projector says, I need to plug my extension cord into your little generator and create this powered connection. And so if they're not aware of that, and then so in addition to, they need a power source, projectors are like the visionaries on the planet. They have an ability to see things in such a way that they can say, oh, this is going to happen. So maybe you need to pay attention to that. They can see that. But if someone isn't open to hearing it, then they'll often reject it. So all of this is happening on the energetic level, not on the conscious level. So when we run around bumping into each other's not consciously, we have all these collisions energetically, and that's actually a source of a lot of the disconnects that we have within our relationships, within workplaces and things like that. And the other thing that the human design can do is it can like reveal at least where you can unkink things, knowing these facts about it.
You get to do the work yourself.
You get to do right, but it sure helps having a manual.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like a manual that says, "Oh, this is." I liken a lot to a car's owner's manual. So, how many people out there like literally read their owner's manual for their vehicle?
Yeah. I mean, for fun.
Right, for funsie. You're just like, sure,
Only when I have to.
You're like, where's the jack? Because my tire's flat.
Right.
How do I get it out?
Optional.
Yeah, it's optional.
And that's so crazy because we have all of these amazing tools at our fingertips. We literally can learn so much. And yet, there are so many of us who decide to learn something when something is broken, wrong, whatever that is. We don't learn it just to learn it, because why would we do that?
Well, I guess that's kind of the way this human thing is designed anyway, is if it's school, then you can go along, and that's actually what drives the need to discover more deeply. And then we expand, because humans love to learn.
Yes. Most of us do.
Right. Well, some people are really resistant to their learning, and they're like, I just can't. It's like so hard on me. Everything's against me. And you're like, not really. Not really. Just like relax.
See, and I say most of us because we've all been in a place where that wasn't something, right?
Right.
We've all been in that place you just said. I have to learn something. I have to do this for me. Because there's a time in our lives where we get tired of trying to learn the same lesson, that we're like, okay, I went off this rat race and I want to change this. And that's where stuff like this comes in.
Right. So the other aspect of learning more deeply your design or understanding why is because there's people that, to what you just said was, as we're having a similar lesson over and over again, it's because we were designed to come here to do specific things. And most of the time, our obstacles and the lessons that we're learning are directly in line of what we're here to overcome, to then reach that next step to utilize ourselves more fully in the world. And often those lessons are there because we're in resistance to something. And it's often a mystery what it is we're in resistance to. So this actually came from it was a channeled work. It was channeled and the guy received it. So I was thinking about that, because that can sound kind of wonky when you say, well, it was channeled and it came from somewhere. Well, where was that? That was mysterious. How do I trust that? And so I was just contemplating that today, because I wanted to bring that up, because when people go to study it, they're going to say the founder of it, Ra Uru Hu, actually had the work channeled to him, and then he incorporated it. And I think, so I was thinking, most inventions come to the inventor. They're inspired. They're mostly inspired. Like someone just receives kind of the concept. Where does it receive from? Well, I don't know. From this higher realm, from the other dimension, from all kinds of words about that. So this was one of those that came from, it would be a higher level intelligence that says, all right, little humans, you're ready for upgrading. So it literally is kind of an upgrade. And that's what it's talking about, is that we're going from a 7-centered construct in our evolution as humans into a 9-centered construct. It's simply happening. We don't have to do anything about it. It's happening. But as you go and you get upgraded, even on the computer, you have things that you have to learn. when your computer program gets upgraded, you have to learn the program and you have to learn the new ways of managing. So if you go from an old Windows to a new Windows 10, or if you go from PC to Mac, then
Mhm.
those are just, you have to say, how do I operate this? And
Right.
that's kind of the background to human design as it is education. It's a lot, huh?
I was gonna, yes,
You're like, my
yes.
mind is going.
I'm sitting here trying not to yawn, and some of you are probably thinking, "Oh, is AJ seriously bored to death?" But when I'm feeling this much energy all at once, that's how I move my energy. So I'm sitting here yawning, but that's what I'm doing. I'm taking in, excuse me, I'm taking in all of this because it is quite a bit, and the amount of detail that it provides. Like, even after what you shared with me, I kind of went on a deep dive online. Shouldn't
Yes.
have done that.
You're like, whoa.
I got lost. I couldn't find my way out
I'm lost in the jungle of the human design.
because you're like, wait, what? Oh
Right?
my gosh, wait, what?
Right.
It, it really is something else. So you talk about the types, and you were talking about strategy
Right.
and aura. So there's different layers. What would be another layer?
So in the strategy, so there's strategy and authority, and that's going to be different based on each person's chart. And I don't remember exactly the number of strategies. There's not like unlimited strategies, but the strategy is directly tied to your type, which is the aura type. So each aura type, because of the shape of the aura, has a particular strategy in life. So you're all right if we just use yours?
Sure, let's go ahead
So,
and do that.
right. So your type is a manifester. So your aura is what they call as a repelling. So it's out there, and it's just like, not, it's interesting, that word, because it can feel negative, but not
Repelling? Yes,
repelling.
it
But
feels
it is,
awesome.
I know.
I'm
But
like, really? Okay.
to me, it kind of feels that, but the reality is like, well, but manifestors are like, yep, that's me. If you're just talking to a manifestor, they're like, yep, I understand. I don't want everyone in my business. I don't want everyone in my bubble. I don't want people in my so the manifestors that I know are like, yep, I can understand that. So the aura tends to push people away. And so given that aura, the strategy is to inform. So I've seen you, when I saw this, I'm like, I've seen her go through times like this. So I'll have stories about, if you're a manifester, your strategy is to inform. So once a manifester has made a decision, then it is their job to inform everyone that will be affected by the decision. Otherwise, you leave chaos in your wake. And people are like blown up because you make a decision and you just move and you just go with it. And then they're like, what? It seems like so out of the blue. And for you, it isn't necessarily out of the blue.
I'm like, I made a decision. Let's move on with this. That
Right.
is 100% accurate.
But if you don't inform the people that are affected by the decision, then they feel the wake and they feel the chaos. She's like, take that in. I remember working with a client once that I was doing his design, and he was like yawning, and I'm like, good, you're taking that in.
It's just the way I do it.
Yes.
I try to be discreet, but tonight it's just not going to happen. I'm taking it all in, Natalie.
We're
ready for my chart.
We're gonna redefine that yawning thing to be remove some of the stigma about yawning. So I just want to say that for real, yawning is an energy release mechanism. People use it in energy work, and then people use it to allow more space within their consciousness to open
I'm
up.
going to keep yawning because you're talking about yawning. I bet you there's at least 5 people yawning right now.
If they're in the chat room, they can tell you.
I'm sorry.
No, it's good.
Oh.
So that is the strategy. So if you find that you're a generator,
Mhm.
Then generator strategy is to respond. And then projectors are to wait for an invitation. And then reflectors are waiting for a full lunar cycle. So it's interesting, the reflectors, where they're like tapped into the lunar energy, and
Mhm.
they really literally wait like a 28-day cycle to make major decisions or things. Once they've kind of filled something out, then they wait
Who has
28
time for
days.
that?
Well, the reality is, then we say that. That's right. So then here's reflectors running out in a room, running around in a world that says, "Who has time to wait 28 days?" But their literal strategy is to wait 28 days
Right.
for it, to kind of gather information and to fill it out. And it's so the literal strategy may actually kind of flow different than what the world generally tells you to do. And however, if you go against your strategy, then it doesn't, then your energy gets utilized for, let's say, a generator. There's also a type that's a manifesting generator. That's those manifestor and the generator put together. So my type is a manifesting generator. My strategy is to respond. And then there's authority. And so my authority is emotional and the solar plexus. So if I take those three parts for myself, when I'm faced with a decision or a request for my energy or encountering things within life, then I tap into my inner authority, which is my solar plexus, and I listen to that. And it says either like a mm-hmm or a mm-mm, kind of and the more that you practice that, the more clear it becomes when it's a yes or a no.
So
And you
we would
only,
be the same.
so right, except because you're not a manifesting generator. So manifesting generator has a little bit different strategy, because your strategy is to inform, mine is to respond. So it's like there's these differences. So yours is to inform, and
Very
yours,
little subtle differences too.
mhm, right, because that manifestor energy is part of what I have. But it's knowing specifically, and your authority is emotional in the solar plexus. So
Wow.
you're also listening to that.
Mhm.
But not everyone has that. Not everyone's authority is the same authority. So then also where you may actually be living with someone who has a different authority, so the way they make decisions is definitely going to be different than the way you make decisions. And
Mhm.
knowing that difference, it's like oftentimes that can happen in relationships where it says, well, if you just got to do it this way, and you're like, that doesn't feel like that's right for me. No, I don't have to do it that way. That's how you do it. I do it. We'll meet along the way and we'll figure it out.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
it's sorry. I'm like, listen. Yeah. I forgot we're on a radio show.
and it's like pause for effect. And then where do I go next?
Well, soaking it in is one thing, like really understanding what you're saying. But with something like this, where it seems so simple because what you're saying makes sense because I resonate with it,
Right.
doesn't mean it's that simple to understand and put into application. And so that's
Right.
just a thing right there. It's just processing all of what you're sharing.
Right. And because it's so individual, a body graph chart is really so individual.
Yeah.
That you're really tapping in to the individual's part. And the book that I have, the Human Design, like I call the textbook, it's literally called The Science of Differentiation. So at its roots, it is a clear explanation why we are born different. We're born different to show up and be that piece of the puzzle that we are. Nobody else can be our piece of the puzzle. Each individual is here to fill in that part of the world that they inhabit. And so this
That's the
is a
cool
way,
part.
yeah, it is. And it's like, this is a way that you educate yourself to say, what does that mean for me? And how can I just love myself more deeply and show up more deeply for my aspect in the world? And so if people are struggling with self-doubt and esteem kind of things, this is also a beneficial way to reorient that inner world to say, okay, you're born to be different in particular ways. And if you feel different, there's all these different reasons why. And you can, if you tap into it and get with someone that understands it, or get with me, then that will be a way to clarify things for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great investment in yourself. And not everybody will want to do that, but those that do, it's pretty powerful information.
Well, even if they did it initially for the entertainment purposes,
Oh, yeah.
because people get readings, they get astrology readings, they're curious about those type of things. This is a similar tool, just with a lot more in-depth layers.
Right. Right. But it can be pretty simple just with those basic things that's saying, okay, for you. Like when I was telling the other part, that's the profile part that I was talking to you about being a investigative martyr, and the investigative part, and which is your conscious and your unconscious part, and just you're going, yeah, that's me. And the fact that people that are profile 1-3 investigative martyr are born to figure out what doesn't work. And it's important for people to listen to someone that's a 1-3 because they know some stuff, because they bumped into the world and they know, hey, that doesn't work for a reason. And oftentimes people don't listen to that aspect. People want to know what works. And it's interesting how that can often be hard for someone that has that particular profile in different ways, and all the different, there's several different profiles. So for my experience, I'm a 2-4, which is a hermit opportunist. So it was interesting to me. I'm also extroverted. In the other system, Myers-Briggs, I'm an extrovert. So here I'm an extrovert, and then I come and find out that I have this hermit energy going on too. And I'm like, that's interesting. And then I look at my life, the way it's structured, and in my very personal world, not very many people are in my very personal world. I'm out there in the world doing what I do out there in the world. And I come in and I really am kind of hermit, and I could recognize that hermit energy. And I accepted it more deeply, because I'm like, what? I see you. Okay, I can love that part of me too. It's got a name to it and a reason for it.
Titles.
Yes, titles. Like don't shun the titles. Sometimes the titles are powerful to know that. And then the opportunist that says, so this was one of the powerful things that helped me in my business, knowing my profile, which is a hermit opportunist. And when I read the description and I understood that more deeply for myself, it says, I'm a hermit. And so I go and and I do my thing. It's kind of like when you described me. It's like when people encounter me, I affect them in a particular way. I can't even explain what I do. It's not something I try to do. It's just in me. So that's the profile of a hermit, saying hermits just go along and they're doing their little dance and they're doing what they do. They can't explain what it is they do. They just do it. And the people come along and go, what's that? I want to learn more about that, or I want to tap into that, and then that's the opportunist part that says, people will come find you. And when they ask you, you decide whether or not you're going to engage in that opportunity. So in my business, I was really worried and stressed about when I started I left the federal government to open up my own business. Now that's a big leap.
Yes.
Being a federal employee for all my adult life and then stepping into my own business.
Perks.
All the perks on that, and then leaving it going, I need to go do this other thing, which was beautiful. Best decision. One of the best decisions. So then when I read that, I had been really stressful. I need a market. I worried about getting clients. I just was really stressed about it. And anytime that I'd get into that space, it didn't quite work. I've been like, how do I advertise? All that. It didn't resonate with me. So then I read my profile and I'm like, okay, I don't have to worry about marketing. because people will find me. And so
Yes.
when I relaxed into it, you know what? People literally do find me. So I have a referral-based business. I do these, I take these opportunities like this, and more people can kind of get to know me, but I don't have to go and push. And so that really took a lot of stress off me. So even those little insights that can go, wow, I get to do this. Let me try it out. And it's like, it fits perfect. It's like the perfect pair of jeans.
Yeah. And it is like that too. Your referral base is incredible. It's like no one else's I've ever seen. And I know I'm just like throwing all these compliments at you tonight. So I hope you float away on a cloud at the end of this.
Yes. I will.
It's just my observation of how you show up and how others see you, and really appreciate and respect you as a person. Your referral base is massive. Like everybody knows Natalie Peace.
It's wild.
Or they've heard of you.
So
it is. It's really, really wild and so amazing.
Well, and I credit somewhere along the way, I had the insight or whatever to study myself. And through that study to be that. And there were times in my life that I was not myself. That through different relationships or different work that I was doing, I was literally in my own life walking upstream, doing it almost the most difficult way I could do it. So I would just offer to people, if they're curious about it, learn about these different parts, these different systems, or if it resonates with you, research it more. Be yourself. Walk downstream in your life, not upstream in your life. If you have to do a little bit of study, it's really beneficial. Or get with someone to say, this is you.
Right.
Do it this way. And practice that, because it is a little bit foreign right off the bat. And so you have to practice these different things.
Right. And I know from my experience, going through different experiences in my life, especially the more challenging ones, having a deeper understanding of myself has made those experiences that much lighter, softer around the edges. They're not as hard anymore. And life isn't horrible anymore because I understand my reaction and my action around them, knowing these things. So I highly encourage doing that. Dig deeper into yourself. Learn who you are. Thank you for sharing all of that. We're going to take our top of the hour break, and when we get back, we have an entire hour to continue our wandering with our guest, Natalie Peace. So stay close, everyone.
Hey members, the new KGRA-DB app is now available on iOS and Android devices. Gain on-demand access to any KGRA-DB programming. Download any show directly to your mobile device to listen or watch on the go. Go to the App Store and search KGRA-DB.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
Families don't have to talk about everything, but they should talk about how to plan for an emergency. Get tips and resources to make your family's emergency plan.
Welcome to the new KGRA digital broadcasting website, thekgradb.com. Here you'll find great new content, including the KGRA Classics, great shows from our archives. You'll be able to see the show times and information so you can see what show is currently on air. The on-air live button, so just go to this section and you'll be able to hear the show live with exceptional sound quality. We also have the Vault section. Make sure to subscribe to get access to great content and special features. We have the make content for our latest news and events, so make sure to sign up and you can be part of our forum. So make sure to check out the new KGRA digital broadcasting website, the KGRADB.com. We look forward to seeing you there, and we hope that you enjoy the new website.
Hi, Wanderers. Welcome back. You're listening to KGRA Digital Broadcasting in Salt Lake City, Utah, and Hudson Valley, New York. And I'm wondering, have you guys checked out the new website, kgradb.com? Because if you haven't, you need to hustle over there. It's seriously a cool site, you guys. There's so many things to check out. One of my favorites, like I've shared before, is they have exclusive content behind the scenes that isn't released anywhere else except for in the members area. And they have some really cool stuff over there. Great interviews that you haven't heard anywhere else. And speaking of the interviews you haven't heard for a while, they have the classics. So that's a lot of your favorite past shows that were on KGRA in the beginning that haven't played for years. You go back and have a listen to all of those. They are so good. There's so many great hosts on there like Linda Moulton Howe and Rosemary Ellen Guiley, Chase Kludsky, Racist shows on there. They just have a lot. So it'd be really beneficial for you to become a member, not just for those reasons, but there's a lot more. Plus, they'll be adding stuff as time continues. So right now, all of the hosts on KGRA are offering promo codes, and I'll give you guys mine so that you have mine in case you want to use it. What it does is it gives you a 25% off your first annual membership. So use the promo code SOUL, SOUL, and then you'll be able to access all of that exclusive content and the KGRA classics. And you support the station and all of these amazing hosts we have here. And there are a lot of them, as you know, because we have this great, big, huge, fantastic KGRA family. Thanks for all of the support. Tonight we are wandering with one of my most favorite humans, Natalie Pease. Her specialty is grief and practical application of all of the human things.
Yeah.
The human stuff.
Love the human stuff.
You certainly do. You certainly do.
Speak fluent human.
Mm-hmm. Tonight we are talking about human design, and you're referring to these different titles, if you will, but you've brought up a couple of times like the human design chart or the body graph. And do you have one of those printed with you? Do you have one with you so we can kind of see what that looks like? Yeah. I'm kind of putting you on the spot because I'm assuming
I have it, so it's yours, but I don't know if you mind.
Oh,
that's right there. Or
if you're not reading it, it's not going to matter anyway.
It looks right. It looks
like.
Yeah.
So check this out, you guys. It's quite interesting, and we don't have a graphic to put up on the screen, and this is so just rolling with it. I just want people to see like how look at all these layers.
Right. All these, this is the part where the different centers, if it's white, it's open. If it's not, if it's colored, it's defined. That means that each of these places that are white were open to influence from the world. And these other parts is pretty set. So there's that. All of these relate to the different I Ching verses. So it was kind of fun learning these numbers here. And then reading the I Ching. So I bought a few different versions of the I Ching because that was new to me, what that was. And then up here, it's talking about the authority and the type. And so this is what a body graph, at least coming from Jovian archives, looks like. They can look a little bit different, but they all tend to have this part of the body graph here. So interesting, like doing this on camera. It's like things
It's
don't work. It's like a
backwards.
mirror.
No,
So
it's
this part
totally
is
different.
yeah. This part here is the body graph, and these channels, all these channels mean something. If they're all dark filled in, if they're red, if they're white, if they're sometimes they can be striped, that all means something. These gates, which are these little numbers here, and these in these centers, all mean something. So there's layers and layers and layers and layers to study yourself. And people that go to lots of school to become an analyst that can do what they call keynotes for a person. And through the keynotes, they're saying these basic things about you.
Mm.
And then it's even tapping into the neutrino field. And if anyone's familiar with the neutrino field, that's flying through space, and neutrinos are like fly through space, and they can fly through everything. So they go all the way through the Earth and through us, and that neutrino field has an effect on us. And that aspects of human design, like you can study it for years. It's really pretty in depth. And I just know some surface stuff.
Yeah,
I know
I
a
mean,
lot about it, but I don't know everything.
I had no idea.
I know I did until I was, and I'm like, wow, this is cool. I really like it. It's a powerful tool, and that's just using it just a little bit.
Do you combine this tool with any other tools when you're offering this type of an experience to a client to better understand themselves? Like, do you know what I'm asking?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm going to answer that in the way that me as a coach. So I, as a coach, use this tool among several different tools. And generally, if someone specifically wanted a human design, a session that's specifically around a human design reading, and they wanted to dive into their human design, then I don't bring anything else in, because that's enough. There's nothing else that needs to be added to that. But as a coach, sometimes people don't want to go that deep. So I use some other tools, like I really often use Myers-Briggs, or just go simple with the life path number, which evidence the audience loves. Knowing your life path number, even with that information, is a really powerful tool to know that, okay, so if you're a 4, you're here to learn how to do things in a process. If you're a 7, you're learning how to open up. If you're a 5, you're just learning how to have your freedom and your discipline too, that type of stuff. So I use all these different systems, and I'm blessing whoever made me that I've got a brain that can handle all that. And that's
a lot.
yeah. So there's this part that's on here that's this incarnation cross. And so that has a lot to do with, so you just take the words incarnation. And so when I've read that incarnation cross, it's what you're born under, that kind of energy that you're using in this incarnation. Literally, you're coming to this body under a particular sort of energy, and you're here. It's almost like your cross to bear in some ways. But if you say it's your cross to bear, or the cross that you're under. So mine is the Maya. So I have this ability born into it, and I've always had this. I didn't know that it was like because of my incarnation cross, but I had this ability to tap into complex concepts. That's a lot to say. And articulate them in easy to understand terms. So I was born to do that.
And look at what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like powerful. And then I have one of my best friends in the world he's born under the contagion. So he literally is like a contagion in the world. And then I watch the way he interacts in the world, and I'm like, wow, that's really amazing that all of these systems are out there that can then be combined into one system to kind of sample all those different systems, the I Ching and all that stuff. And to read the I Ching itself, it's a book that's been around for centuries.
Yeah.
From China. It's used as an oracle. And the little verses, they've been reinterpreted and reinterpreted. And I don't even know how many versions are out there. But even that, you just sit with just a verse of one of the hexagrams. It's like, okay, that's a lot to think about and ponder and watch how it shows up in my world. And then, so back to, I appreciate the compliments and I love it when people say that, and it's nice to know. But in my chart, there's this thing that says, watch the ego. Don't let it get too big.
I could see that being a thing because you are having the experiences that you are having.
Yeah.
And you are still human after all.
Still human. So I'm like, thank you for that. I'm just going to like keep it on the real.
Right. I'm curious, what is my cross to bear?
So yours is the right angle cross of Eden.
And I have obviously no idea what that means.
Right. So I have to grab I can kind of find it in the book. I didn't read that, but that's something that
it's
you
fine.
have to dig into the information. Yeah. Right. So, but I bet you it has something to do resonating about Eden. And so what I would say, if I were just to go intuitive on that, if we just think about the cross of Eden, you have a beautiful way of creating beautiful spaces, beautiful things. And so you have this energy about you that is kind of Eden-esque, if you want to say. You have a way of creating spaces that are beautiful. And so that's probably what that has to do with.
That means so much to me on so many levels. You know, when I had my ND experience and I specifically was told my calling in life was to hold space, right? So that makes perfect sense.
Yes. And so then you just do that more deeply and you just love and appreciate that. And you say, okay, that's not, and then it's not about like going, well, anyone could do this. Well, not necessarily like that. It's you were born and that's that aspect. And you bring that to the world and you were born that way for a particular reason. And other people have other
makes
things.
My heart feel so good. It does.
And if you look back in your life, you've always been able to do that. You've always had something where you've been able to bring beauty to even dark places.
Wow, that is so neat. It's amazing. This chart has so many layers, like we said. And the way that you figure out your chart is the knowing, just like if you were to do an astrology chart, you would need your name, birth date, and birth location.
And time.
Very, very specific things about you. So how, I know it uses astrology as part of the design, but how are there similarities between the two? Because they take the same information.
They do.
In order to gather the charts.
Right. So because I have run charts on several different clients. So I'll have a stack of charts that I've run. And so I'm starting to notice the pattern. So I saw some similarities. If I ran I ran 3 people that were like Pisces. So there seems to be, like now I'm starting to see that these threads are in there, but you kind of have to look at the cross section. So someone that's a Pisces is maybe going to be similar. I don't even know exactly, but that's in there. So there's going to be different, it's kind of even hard to articulate to say exactly how it would be. There's going to be these threads, though. If you're looking across the spectrum and you're able to see people, the system's been around for a while. The websites have been up for a while that are out there to explore. And so at one point when it seemed like when the website was on the ramp up, like Jovian Archives, where the founder, he has since died, but when they were doing samplings from all across the world, and they used to have charts available. I couldn't find one that kind of showed the landscape of the entire globe. Like how many reflectors are there? How many generators are there? And there could be still information out there because it's a highly almost analytical, it's a scientific kind of application to things. So there's sampling out there that can be done. There's aspects that show up that way. But they're so interwoven. It would be almost like if we were to liken it to like different cars. or a different manufacturer of a car. If you say, okay, SUVs have this particular look about them, or that's what resonates more with me. If we're going to look at some similarities, we're going to say, well, okay, it's going to be like a vehicle. They're going to look different. They're going to function different. And so there'll be something about that. If you kind of tap in and learn it, then you may start to actually be able to pick up what a manifester feels or looks like. What's that aura? What's that? So I was looking at that. It's the closed and repelling aura of a manifester, and you can maybe start to feel what those people feel like, or what's a generator feel like. What's a manifesting generator look like? That type of energy. What's a projector look like? And there are certain behaviors. I've worked with a few different projectors, and there's certain behaviors about projectors that I can start to kind of pick up on. They get because they're it's just words just are hard to put it all into words to say that's what it all means.
No, I get it. Hello, we're talking about me too. I'm good with words.
Right?
Mixing them up. Yes. But that's how it gets though, because there's just so many factors to creating a piece like this to gain that deeper understanding. And so what angle do you come at it from in explaining what means what? So it's easy to get discombobulated and trying to explain this to us. I can understand where that would be a thing.
Right. And I'm aware that I'm talking to a diverse audience. And so however many people are on listening to it, there's going to be all these different types. And so if you try to articulate and talk to the whole audience, so someone doesn't feel like we're like, oh, that's not me. It's like, no, it's applicable to every human. Every human can benefit from it. In fact, I think that the system books on it have been translated in lots of languages over the years.
Yeah. Well. I mean, I would imagine so. We're always trying to reinvent the wheel.
Right. Or to take the wheel and say, this wheel is like more. There's more to this. It's more. As we go along in our evolution, we expand. As we expand, it's just more to understand. The more that you know, the more you realize that you don't know.
Exactly. And that is so true. It is so true. Give me a deeper understanding, universe. Okay, here you go. You asked for it.
Fire hose time.
It feels like that sometimes. I know we all can relate to this.
And after kind of tapping into this, I do kind of wonder or contemplate, and it's like, what would it have been like to have this downloaded into my brain? What would that be like to have it downloaded and try to comprehend in the way that we understand the world, to understand a higher level view of technology? It's really, really quite something to think about.
And so this information was downloaded to the creator of the system. It makes me wonder, were we meant to know this all along? Is this something that was downloaded so that we can now have a knowing, a better understanding of oneself?
So the purpose of the download was because we are evolving as humans. So as we go and we've developed, so as we evolve it's not just our bodies or our world, it's our energy bodies and the complexity that we're able to take on. There's 11 dimensions and different worlds on all those dimensions, and in quantum physics, and they're aware of all of these dimensions on the quantum level in the way that we have in our current understanding. We're like, wow, there's 11 dimensions, and what does that even look like? So other dimensions have a different, just a more expanded view. And as we are evolving, and what do they say? Things are speeding up, and that I'm tapping into that evolution. That's what I'm talking about, that evolution. We are moved. So historically, humans have not had 9 centers. Historically, humans had 7.
Right.
And we're evolving, and now we're becoming more complex in our energy systems and all that. And so we're evolving into 9 centers. So somewhere, someone out there in the out there is looking out for us and saying, hey, you need some more information. You need more ways to navigate this. You need some more ability. You need some more tools. And so that's what my interpretation of the way that it came into this world was to help us.
Yeah.
And there's been many, many different channelings of information that have come through over all the different times. Edgar Casey and the different types of channeled energies, which feel like other dimensional whatever out there assisting us to learn and grow for our
Yeah.
benefit, so we can meet whatever potential we have within us.
Yeah. Yeah. I most definitely agree with that. Do you feel the same is the case for the other tools that you use, like numerology, astrology, things like that?
So when I think about those tools along the lines of that question, numerology has been around for lots of centuries. So Myers-Briggs, which was originally developed out of the work of Carl Jung, has been around for several decades. So it's been studied and fine-tuned. And so that's a little bit more mainstream and accepted than sometimes astrology is. So I find that Myers-Briggs is sometimes more accepted because it seems to be more scientific and been more tried and true. And so that would be sometimes that's one of the reasons why I pick and choose among the different tools, depending on who I'm working with and maybe what they're more. It's no fun if you're working with a client and they're pushing back at the tool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just not helpful for any kind of growth or any conversation. So
Right.
learning to know that. Numerology has been around for several hundreds of years. The Chinese seem to have tapped in to the energy body and have a much deeper understanding than the energy body in the Western world. So then in the Western mind is a very analytical, cut it into its parts mind. And so we like to analyze the parts. Well, the one thing we often will miss in our Western mind is the whole. So you can't understand the whole. I like to use the analogy. You cannot understand a frog by cutting it open through dissection.
But we do.
We do. And so that's just a clear example of like we think that we understand biology by looking at hearts and livers and blood systems and all these types of different systems, but you can't understand the organic flow of it all if it's just the parts. So we have a slicing up mind kind of thing. And so we are often challenged with our Western, and if you're born in the West or you just have a Western mind, it's just what we have. It's not bad. It's the Western mindset. So we're so often benefited by tapping into these systems to help us put it a little bit more into an organic, holistic sort of context to say, yeah, we're a whole mind, body, spirit. And that doesn't even begin to really explain what that means.
It's part of those layers. There are so many layers.
So many layers.
I think Donkey said it best. or was it Shrek?
Donkey or Shrek that said ogres are like onions?
Yes. I mean, that's how big my brain goes. Okay,
I like it. The wisdom of Pixar. Well, that's DreamWorks.
Layers have onions, or onions have layers.
That's right. Lots and lots of layers.
Yeah, so good. You brought up numerology, or I did. One of us were talking about it. So I just want to get off topic just a little bit because there was a really good question in the chat on YouTube over. If you guys are wanting to watch us on YouTube, we're at KGRA Digital Broadcasting's page. They made this comment. It would be interesting for the next, okay, blah, blah, blah. Let's forget about that. numerology expert. That'd be you, Natalie.
Oh, thanks.
Wondering about the number 40, because a lot of things say about that number, like WD-40, top 40, life beginning at 40, 40 days of fasting, etc. What's your take on that?
Well, I've most deeply studied. Okay, let's just pause
I
bring
know.
it
I'm
into
like,
my
stop human
brain,
design.
right?
Let's play some numerology.
Right. So in numerology, it is literally like a concentration of the numbers. So even though it says 40, we concentrate that into a 4 energy. Now, that said, when we're looking at someone, let's say that someone has a life path of a 40, and we're going to just take that and we're like, how do we apply it across the landscape? That person is the 4 energy, which has everything to do that's focused around 4 energy is organization, foundation, stability, and a process. So for that 4 energy is really kind of foundational energy, establishing a solid foundation and doing things one step at a time, and understanding that everything is like it's a process, which truly means that there's no skipping steps. So that the different aspects that they were talking 40, and maybe that's in your 40s, you're looking at kind of your middle of your life, and you've built a lot of your foundation to 40, and then 40s, in your 40s, we'll just talk about that for a minute. In people in their 40s, they actually then are faced with, do I take this stuff that I've learned all the way into my 40s, and I can literally shift. I can shift now and take that expertise away from what I've done for all these years and utilize it, because now I'm kind of a little bit of a journeyman. I've gained a lot of knowledge. What can I do with it? Maybe my marriage is like, wow, I've done this for a while, and maybe that just isn't quite, maybe I haven't tapped into myself enough, and I want to explore more deeply myself, or I want to free myself from the grind, or so. And that happens in people's in their 40s. They start re-examining their life. It's kind of like this halfway part. WD-40. So it's interesting. WD-40. WD-40 is literally like a waterproofer, but then they learned that it had so many different applications. So it initially was to repel water. So when I learned, it's like because it pushes water away. And so people have learned it's been a lubricant, and maybe that's just kind of like you get to the foundation with WD-40 or.
Yeah. And when you're in your 40s, I feel like that's very relevant.
The 40s are an interesting decade to be. I just finished my 40s and launched into my next decade, and I loved my 40s. That was like my favorite decade of my life. It was like the best time. But there was so many transitions in my 40s.
Yeah.
And that was when I examined, when I felt like I needed to shift gears and leave one career and launch into another one. And that's kind of what I would say from that. This is how you can take, if you understand some basic number energies. Pythagoras said, everything is numbers. Music is numbers. The way they say the Fibonacci, like the nautilus shells, people study the nautilus shells for its geometry and all of those types of things. That's tapped into. And then if you're just learning your life path number, so why not humans? Why wouldn't we have a literal programmed kind of, that's like God's the mad scientist that says, we're going to try this.
Yes.
So there's going to be a technology behind it.
It really all is so fascinating and just mind-blowing how accurate it actually is when you sit down and really figure out what your design is, going back to the human designer and even numerology. I mean, I'm a 4. Everything you've always shared with me about 4 has always resonated. I'm very system and foundation and gotta have my feet on the ground type, which most people don't see that in me if they don't really know me.
Right.
But it's so true how it these different design systems really do pinpoint your characteristics and how detailed they can really get. And even when you know something about yourself, you're like, yep, I feel that is something about me. It goes even deeper. So you understand why that's something about you.
Right. So then you take, and let's say you get a reading on a human design.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's something you could just file away, and you can just go, oh, well, that was kind of a cool experience. And that was a neat thing. Paid someone for that insight and it resonated in it. But then you just file it away.
Yeah.
Now, the better approach is to then start to truly experiment with it, contemplate it, observe it within your life, watch these energies, play with it, explore it.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to bring in another thing, if you're willing.
Yes, bring it in. Let's do it.
The gene keys, which the founder of the Gene Keys studied the human design for years and years and years. And then he received additional downloads and worked the system called the Gene Keys, which directly comes from your body graph of your human design. And it's a source of contemplation. So as you learn your Gene Keys, literally like DNA genes. So as you study more deeply, and then you go into the study of Gene Keys, you're looking at your own, from this human design, adjustments that literally can change your DNA structures. Studying that. And the part that I love about the Gene Keys is that it outlays your shadows, your gifts, and then what's called the Siddhi, which is SIDDHI, which is, I've heard that in other consciousness context. That's like the highest level that you can achieve in each one of these Gene Keys. So you have this awareness of, if my shadow frequency, so interesting to note for me that that one of my shadows is intellect. So you're like, wow, the intellect is a shadow, but it is. And then the gift frequency is precision. And then the Siddhi frequency is impeccability. So when I read about that, it says, okay, well, I can know a lot of stuff. And I enjoy knowing a lot of stuff, and I can sound like I know a lot of stuff. But that's great. But that's literally my shadow frequency. So if I'm in there acting like a know-it-all, that's not the highest frequency to resonate.
Yep, you got to keep your ego in check, Natalie.
Right. So if I can speak about the things that I know with a level of precision, then people take me more seriously and they listen and engage more. And then things feel better in my life. And then stepping into the highest level, it would be to be impeccable, to keep it clean, and to go from precision to impeccability. That's just one sample of one of the Gene Keys for me that gave me insight. And I contemplate that and using that for my personal growth. And so I contemplate it. So I kind of put it in my thinking pot, kind of on my back burner. I don't want to sit there and think about it all the time and try to overwork it. It's kind of like incorporated. It's kind of like a good soup. That's like, you kind of put it in that, you let it simmer, and it, so using these systems, I have found, like, you learn about it and you grow, and then it gets onboarded, let's say, and I've incorporated it into the way that I'm doing life. And then I don't have to worry about it. Just like I don't have to worry about breathing or pumping my blood. Once I incorporate this isn't something I have to keep trying to do all the time, because it's already happening naturally. Right. We're just starting to bring it into consciousness, what's already happening naturally. We already do our design already naturally. When you bring it into your consciousness, then you can just fine tune some things. And then you're finding your life flows different.
A lot different. Do you feel like, well, let me take it back a little bit. So we obviously can create our own reality, our own personality traits. We can create our own life the way that we choose to do so.
To some extent.
this is where I'm going. When
Okay.
we want to change something about ourselves, how much can we really change when the design is already in place?
So I heard it said one time, I had this powerful conversation with someone, and I guess I can call him a teacher, but it was a conversation, and through that conversation I gathered um, this little bit of wisdom. You can't change until you fully onboarded everything with that you were designed with to come. And then it's like you transcend your design. Most people that want to change an aspect of themselves have not fully gone into the love and acceptance of that part of themselves. So then you can't transcend it. You're more in conflict with the part of yourself that it's actually a healthier approach to fully love and accept that aspect, whatever aspect it is about yourself. Then, and
Trying
then,
to change it.
yes, and through this conversation, then it was like, then at that aspect, and he was talking about like astrology. Let's say, okay, so I'm going to study, I'm a Capricorn. I'm going to study everything about a Capricorn. My moon is Leo, everything about having a Leo moon, and I'm going to live according to that. And then you would say, well, is there more? Because you can expand beyond that. Absolutely. Once you've kind of grasped all of those things and you're doing your own personal work and you're elevating through that, then you get beyond those kind of labels, beyond those types of things. But I generally find that we're not able to move that much through in one lifetime. We're just not, it's not really designed to do that. It's designed to be this much longer sort of way of living. Now that may
That's
not be everybody's
interesting.
system, but it's not intended. It's like, what's wrong with born to do this one thing and do it really well and get it? Because maybe it's like before this life, our little souls say, I want to learn something. I want to like, we're going like, I like to liken it to like playing a role-playing game. And you pick a character and a look and a role, and you have equip yourself, and you kind of have this characteristics and personality, and then you're born, and then you live that out for a whole lifetime and go, wow, that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I was like, that was fascinating. Maybe I don't want to do that one again.
Yeah.
We're like picking an adventure. Our soul goes, I want to go on an adventure. And it's going to be like an 80, 90-year adventure. And then we're like, wow, that was interesting. We get back up there in souls and we're like, oh, we download and we kind of like talk about how that was. And then we're like, okay, I'm not going to do that one again.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to take on a different cross next time.
That makes so much sense. And you're right. I've never really resonated with the fact that we're even meant to go that extreme in changing the content of our character. I always felt like we show up in this world exactly who we're meant to be and to have the experiences that we're always meant to have, because we decided that before we even came here.
Right. Right. And so then it becomes a deep experience in love. And I'm not talking about romantic love here. I'm talking about like love, that frequency of love. Can you get that depth of frequency for yourself?
Yeah.
And can you love and accept that it was designed that way?
Yeah.
And then yes,
I feel
it. When you grasp that, then you're like, wow, good one, God. I couldn't have done that. Like me in my human form can't do it at the level that God can do it, or the universe, or the way that that's designed. That's like above my pay grade. I can't do it but I can do my best to live it out or study it out and show up in all these different ways that I show up.
Yeah.
Even if you were born as a curmudgeon, like maybe that's because someone had to take on that role. Someone had to be the curmudgeon in life.
Okay, a what?
Like a ornery old man.
Okay. Not sure what that was.
A curmudgeon.
Did they have an ornery old lady?
I wonder what that would be.
A curmudgeon. I don't know.
That's where that intellect is like, oh, that was a big word. Or
Words are
someone, yeah, because I don't want to swear. Otherwise, I'd probably use another word so more freely on the radio. I'm like, I don't want to use that, Born to be the one that's the stick in the mud, or
Mhm.
all of those aspects, because we do like contrast. This really is, if you
Right.
study any threads of philosophy, they're always talking about, or spirituality, there's contrast. Like
Yeah.
there's the good and the bad. And it's because if it was all either dark or all light, there would be nothing, there wouldn't be any texture to the
You're
world. There
right.
wouldn't be this contrast, and we wouldn't really be able to observe anything or experience anything.
You're absolutely right. So why do we have such contrast as humans? I get having the opportunity to be individually ourselves, but why is there so much contrast in each other that create different experiences like division and war and things like that? Is that so we can have our human experiences?
Well, in some ways, it's no, yes. In some ways, to say yes, the human experience is kind of like that. And it's also so much contrast shows up when we are really further away from like source energy or that kind of deeper knowing, when we're in such resistance to what is.
Mhm.
So the human race has kind of grown into being on this world, not in this world. So because we live on the world and not in it, part of the Western mind too is to analyze it and say this isn't, we're not an aspect of the world. So we've removed ourselves from being a part of the whole ecosystem or things like that. Not in every single way, but if we're just talking at a high level general kind of
Right.
statements, humans live on the planet, not not dancing with the planet as much. Like we don't. I was having a little text conversation with a friend about bugs today. He was talking about, I've got these little bugs in my house, and it was from the point of view that they're just visitors within our homes. But most often, if we just take that concept about bugs, most people are in such resistance to a bug, which is a
Mhm.
natural aspect of life on the planet. So where do you want the bugs to be? Because we've put houses everywhere, but bugs belong on the environment, in the environment too. And when
Right.
you go up to the higher level, there's really no, like someone claims a yard space, but that's not like sovereign territory. So the bug gets to go anywhere in the whole environment. So in some ways that's a sort of, not a sort of, that's an explanation to say, if we can contemplate it this way, then the contrast is there. People have forgotten that everybody bleeds a red blood, that there is
Mhm.
something that the color of the skin or the different ways people show up and they're in resistance to
Mhm.
the differences in people. Now, there's something about humans that get uncomfortable with things that are different. Not all humans, but many humans get uncomfortable with something that is not like them.
Mhm.
So we see forward and we understand. So we see forward, so we're viewing the world. We don't view ourselves as much, and we're inside. We contemplate the world through our own experiences, prejudices, and the way we know the world. And so I don't know about why that design was, but in that contemplation, we want it to show up similar to the way we understand things. And a
Mhm.
lot of times that can be the resistance that says, okay, I don't understand you. That is another aspect of I'm going to pause for a minute and breathe. It's like, okay, there's another reason why I appreciate my study within these different systems, personality typing or the human design, is because I can thereby understand there's like at least 5 different types of auras in the world running around in the world. Okay, I'm only one of them. So I can't expect everyone to be showing up like me. I
Mhm.
appreciate the individual aspects of people. That is something I seem to have, but um, the ability to appreciate each person the way they
You
show up
do.
in the world.
Mhm.
And that, I think that's part in my wiring, and that not everyone has that. So if I were to expect everyone, and sometimes that happens, someone will be passionate and then they will take up the cause and there's to say, I've got to convince everyone to accept and to think like me. And that's where we get the contrast, because they're literally in resistance to the differences people have. And I heard this said recently. This was someone talking about the way a European articulated Americans. He's like, us over here in Europe, we're like 10% and 10% on either side. We've got this 10% over here and 10%. 80%'s in the middle. And in America, it seems like you're either like right or left and not this whole middle area. What about all of that? So, and there's programming that goes on all the time about what we absorb and what we learn and what we listen to and read, and that kind of gets us programmed. We're programmed with that, saying this division is literally like through the things that we watch or the way stories are told, we just pick it up. Not like it's purposely trained into us, but it just seems to be this way that we picked it up, because we learn literally through osmosis, not as much. At least our behavior is learned through osmosis.
Right.
Is that a good answer?
It's a much different answer than I would have thought, but it makes complete sense, and it resonates with what I believe. Humans are interesting. We are just a very interesting species. There's no doubt about that.
That's true.
I don't understand us. I really don't. And as much as I try to, when all through high school and when I was in college doing the psychology thing, I still don't understand. I'm fascinated with the psychology of humans, but I still don't understand us.
Well, so consider this. And many times humans are fixated on problems.
Yeah.
Not solutions. And so where your attention goes, energy flows.
Very
and
true.
So are we surprised at all that our problems seem to get bigger and never solved when our orientation is towards problems?
You're
And
right.
the news often covers problems.
And
it's a lot of talk about the problem. And sometimes less is more. Doing less is actually more, because you can relax on it and go, maybe that's not a problem. Maybe that's literally working itself out. So we're going to just let that just kind of figure itself out. We're going to just focus in a different direction. Pay attention to what you focus your energy in on, because there are laws in the universe. It's like gravity. It's a law. It doesn't care what humans think about gravity. It just happens. When you drop something, it falls. There's these laws that say energy goes a certain way. What you think about matters. What you focus on matters. All of that is just universal law. And a lot of times, maybe it's lack of awareness. We don't really have schools that are focused on, let's teach the kids universal law. We don't we don't teach that in our school.
We teach a bunch of other useless information.
A bunch of other things. So people find that they learn this stuff outside of a school environment, and they get gurus, spiritual teachings, whatever they do to learn it along the way. And maybe if that was adjusted in our way the society is set up, and maybe we'll grow into that. I don't know.
I sure hope so.
Well,
but also, isn't that just part of the human experience?
Yeah.
It's just like me, where I always preach to everyone I come in contact with, love is the answer. What does love look like? What does love say? What does it feel like? There's your answer. That is not resonating with everybody. They look at me like, I want what drugs you're on, because that's not realistic. But in my world, from where I've come from to where I am now, it is so realistic for me.
Right. And that's part of, we go back to your design. Guess what? You learn. So you are a investigative martyr. And and you and many other people in the world are an investigative martyr. Investigative martyrs are born to bump into things and understand what doesn't work, and then thereby you know what does.
Mm-hmm.
You've bumped into a lot of things throughout your life that you said, okay, wow, you have literally grown to understand why love is the answer, because
Mm-hmm.
you have been not very healthy in your life when you were not in a love space.
Mm-hmm.
And you grew healthier when you applied love to a lot of things that many people would say, you can't love that. And you're like, well, I'm going to try it and see if it works.
Yeah.
You're like, I literally found it worked. You're like, wild thing. It kind of worked because you're an investigator. So you're like, well, let's try it and see.
It's true.
And so you tell people that, whether or not they listen, if they wanted to talk more about it, you're just like, love is the answer. And a lot of times, love is this weird concept that can often be like,
Yeah.
you're just talking about rainbows and kittens. And you're like, nope.
I'm
The
talking
heart of
about
the
a
warrior.
vibration. Yes. The ultimate vibration.
The ultimate. Right. Pour a little love on that and see what happens. And generally
Mhm.
things bloom and grow, and the darkness evaporates. It's like turning a light on
Yeah.
in a dark room. The room just can't help but illuminate. And when you pour love on a life situation, it just can't help but illuminate.
You know, one of the first times that I was able to be around you when I was first getting to know you, I witnessed you listen to someone who was deep in their grief. And I remember the first time I've heard you do this, you were like, "Ah, that's what love looks like." And I was like, she's my people. That is my girl. She gets it. She doesn't think I'm a nut job.
Nope.
But it was so good. And being around people like that really fill my cup up. It's just so good. Like, how could you not feel good even in those challenging situations? Like, I've gone through hard things and you literally have laughed at me. Like,
I do that.
This is cute.
That's right. Oh, look at cute.
And I'm
In
like,
your struggle. Look at you being such struggle and in resistance.
But I love that you show up that way.
That was because you were right. But that some people are like, wow, you're like ridiculing me, and they're just not, they get in resistance because love is really powerful. And if people are on a particular vibration and you're vibrating it, love vibrates at a higher frequency. And so sometimes it literally can be so uncomfortable for people because it's so far away from their normal vibration rate. So they can like push back against it, or they can misinterpret it, or they're just not ready to be in that space. And that's okay too, because everyone is on their journey.
True.
Everyone's
Very
in their
true.
journey.
Old version of me would have been really pissed off at you. So, see, we're always like wherever we are, and that's okay.
Oh, that was my an insight I had just recently that was like, it was because someone sent me. So did you know we're doing this on 7/7 and there's like some portal energy or something going on? And someone sent that to me. It's like perfect timing. You're doing this. And I'm like, wow, I didn't even try. I just showed up, and the universe is always working for you.
Yes.
If you're working with it, or you're really relaxed and just going with the flow of it. And that was just confirmation of like, wow, look at that. It's like right on time on this 7/7
noticed that
energy.
the other day, and I was like, of course it is. When I have Natalie on the show, of course that's what day it is. And we weren't even thinking about it when we scheduled it.
No,
and we scheduled it a long time ago, like 2 months ago. So
yes,
it's been so much fun having you back with us.
Oh my gosh, it's so much fun.
I love learning about all the things that you are filling your big, beautiful brain with.
Well, I'm happy to share, and I hope that everybody loved and appreciated and got something out of.
Yeah, I'm sure.
The
I'm absolutely
conversation.
sure that they have. If they were wanting a one-on-one session with you, you're able to do that over Zoom, Facebook, Skype, whatever that looks like. But how can they do that?
So they could email me at peaceofmind@q.com,
Mm-hmm.
or
And
they
it's
can,
peace, as in your last name,
that's right,
Peace.
OF Mind, MIND. What we would all really love to have, peace of mind,
Mm-hmm.
at the letter Q.com. Or they can get a hold of me through Facebook and reach out to me if the
Yes,
email doesn't work.
perfect.
Yep.
And
I
on
do get,
Facebook, they can find you at New Normal
right,
or Natalie Peace.
right, either one.
Of course, we already have people in the chat room wanting you back and a request for open phone lines. So we
Okay.
thought about that before in the past. The thing is, it we could probably do numerology with phone calls. Doing a human design chart is a whole nother level of fun. So that's definitely something you'll want to book a one-on-one with her
Right.
for. Or if you are experiencing grief and wanting to know how to navigate through that, Natalie is a phenomenal grief coach. I highly recommend you reaching out to her. So good. I love you, and I'm so
I love
thankful for
you.
you. And thanks for hanging out in your house and in my house. And it's so different not being in the studio.
Oh, it is so different. Not, yeah, right, not in the studio, but it's fun. I have all the equipment now. I'm working on grasping this whole video thing, but it's good.
It's
Like,
good.
okay, yeah.
Well, thank you again, and we will see you soon. Stay close after the show so I can chat with you. And
Will
to
do.
all of you, oh my goodness, really quick before I end the show, to all of my healer friends and those who are willing to take a moment to send some energy, we have two that I know of, KGRA family, who could really use some healing vibes right now. So names aren't important. Just please, if you would like to share some Reiki, send love and light, whatever it is that you believe in that will assist in this way of healing, please do send all of that and share out into the world, because I know it will go exactly where it's meant to go, where it's needed. And thank you. Thank you for doing this for us. And a shout out to Bill for having my back tonight. So blessed, great producer. And of course, to all of you. Thank you, as always, for showing up, hanging out with us in the chat rooms, sharing the show with your friends, emailing me the things that go on in your heart. And I'm wishing you all a happy day. We'll see you next time.